Hello, everyone. Welcome to our CEU session. Today, we are talking about SEO and developing a SEO strategy to learn how to increase traffic to your website. And SEO is a topic that gets a lot of angst from a lot of people. It can be very technical, but at the same time, SEO is necessary. So let's begin. So what you want to do, you want to download the workbook. This is where you can get the workbook at kabms.com/2021-SEO-workbook. And that, if you're watching this on the recording, you'll actually see the video on that same page as well. So you'll see the recording on this page with the workbook. So they'll be right next to each other. So what we'll cover today, we're going to talk about SEO 101. What is SEO? Okay. Optimizing your website for SEO. 10 SEO factors for ranking in 2021. Optimizing your business for a Google Maps listing. SEO myths. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And like I said, SEO is a topic that gets a lot of angst from a lot of people, especially business owners that are not very technical. So I'm going to be technical and high level at the same time. So excuse me, but this will be a recording so you can replay it. And if you're not very technical, you may want to have either your web developer or if you've hired a marketing agency to help you out, they can help you with a lot of what I'm going to talk about today. But no, a lot of this information, though some of it is technical, it's going to be to help you move your business forward and get more leads and help you convert those leads through SEO. Okay? Who am I and why should you listen to me? So my name is Jason Lockhart and I'm the owner of Kitchen and Bath Marketing Solutions. I'm the author of The Complete Guide to Internet Marketing for the Kitchen and Bath Industry. We're an industry partner of the NKBA. I am a sales and marketing specialist for the NKBA. This is a CEU and we do several CEUs for the NKBA, and you can find those either on our website or on the NKBA website as well. I've spoken at the NKBA, the AIA, the NKBA National Kitchen and Bath Association, the AIA, American Institute of Architects, the ASID, American Society of Interior Designers, and other industry events as well across the US and Europe. So I have over 20 years experience in the industry, and I've worked on projects that have a price tag over $20 million, whether that's been ground up remodels. And so I have experience. So not only do I know the marketing side, I also know the industry side as well. I've taught at the School of Architecture and at the School of Interior Design at LSU and Southern University. And I'm also the partner in an architecture firm here within the Dallas area. So if you have not done so already, make sure you download the workbook. Again, kabms.com or kitchenandbathmarketingsolutions.com/2021-SEO-workbook. Okay, so let's get started. SEO 101. So SEO 101, what is SEO? So SEO stands for search engine optimization. And it is the practice of what you do to enhance your site's online visibility. And this is what the search engines use to determine where to rank certain websites. Okay, so SEO comes in three parts. So you have on-page SEO, off-page SEO, and technical SEO. So each one. On-page SEO is what you do on your website that'll help improve rankings. Off-page SEO is the strategies that you use that get other sites to give you notoriety and approval that helps to move up your SEO or your search rankings. And technical SEO, those are the back end or the server optimizations that help you optimize your site. And when the search engines crawl your website, it helps them recognize what your website is all about and what you're trying to do. So I actually we have another CEU session on website optimization that is up. So if you have not seen that one, check on that one because we get into heavy on the technical SEO side more so how to optimize your site once you have the traffic coming to your site, how to optimize it. And that's in that website CEU session. So make sure to take a look at that one. So why is SEO important? Okay. SEO provides credibility to your business. So users have been conditioned over the last decade plus to actually trust what the search engine results are. So if you're at the top of the search engines, users believe that you're more credible and you're more trustworthy. So by having high rankings, that helps provide your company more credibility. Next, it brings traffic to your website. Good SEO will drive more traffic to your website over time. Now, this is not a short-term solution, but long-term SEO can drive a lot of traffic to your website and help also build your credibility like we talked about. And it's driving traffic through the keywords and the content on your website, which we're going to talk more about on how to enhance that to drive more traffic to your site. It offers a better user experience. If you do quality SEO, you are in nature developing your site so it's easy to use for the end user. So you're providing information that's easy to find. You're providing a great user experience because if you do all of the steps and strategies you need to do for quality SEO, you're building a site that is user-friendly, easy to use, mobile optimized, and that's great for search engine optimization and for how the search engines view your site, but that's also amazing for how the end users view your site and how they will engage with the content on your website. It gives insights into the prospects. So good SEO also analyzes the user behavior and interests. And you can take this and learn more about your prospects and end users to see what their interests and likes are. And then that'll help you tailor what you do to market to them and to promote your services in the way that best relates to what they're looking for. And it builds brand awareness. So by having top search results, like I said, the end user has already been conditioned to believe that websites at the top of the search engines are already trustworthy and credible, but it also builds you as a brand that if they see over and over again, they will even more know, like, and trust you. And they will keep coming back if you're providing valuable resources and content and services, obviously. So all of these things help you understand why SEO is important. So how does SEO work? So search engines send out bots to all websites on the internet, and they collect information and they index the websites based on this information. Now, we don't always understand how the algorithm works, but we have a good idea based on research and what we do. But once this analysis is done, several factors are determined to show which sites go where. And this is what we're going to talk about because based on our research, these are the factors that we believe will help you. And from what we've seen and what we do with our own clients will help you take that next level and drive more traffic to your website. So this is an area here on how the search results are returned. So once you type in your keyword, this is the keyword search here, what you'll have a page like this. This is on Google. So you'll have the PPC, the paid advertising. PPC is pay-per-click. So this is where, like Google AdWords, this is where this will pop up first. Next, you'll have your maps listing. And this is for local search. So if you're searching on your mobile device, this is where you're gonna probably want to click to see what's near you. And then lastly, you're gonna have the organic search. So this is really where SEO pays off. So this is where all of the search results start. And this is where the top 10 results that you want to be on page 1. Now, SEO can help you mainly with organic and maps. These are the two things that SEO is made to help you with. SEO can also help you with PPC. There's ways that it can help there. We're going to do a training on PPC, and I'll talk more about how SEO helps at that time. But for now, we're just going to focus on maps and organic search. Next, we're going to talk about optimizing your website for SEO. So first, you want to create Google My Business page. And we're going to talk more about this a little later about how do you create this and where you go to find it. But for now, you just want to claim the Google My Business page on your website first. And then once you have created that, you'll use the keywords and to write descriptions and about the products and services that you have, more so services, and if so you have showroom, you'll have products, but more so services. Next, you want to use schema markup. Now, this is a little technical. So this is all of the back end, and this is the technical SEO aspect. And like I said, aspects of this are on the website CEU that we have, but the schema markup, that is what Google uses to determine what your business is about and what is being searched for and what you have to offer. So there are code in your website that explains to the bots, because remember, the bots are coming to your website to understand. And for it to read, it's reading the schema data and other code in the back end of your website to determine what your site is about. What are you offering? What are your services? What are your products? And this is an aspect that, as I talked about, if you don't have the technical knowledge, you may want to bring in either your web developer or your technical person to help you with the schema markup. And we're going to talk a little later about how you can do a little bit of this. You want to update your NAP information. NAP is your name, address, and phone number. You want to make sure everywhere that is on the web is the same. Anytime it's not the same, so you may have street, or you may have ST, or you may have road, or you may have RD. You want to make sure that everywhere your address is listed, it's the same. If it's STREET, have it that same way, all of the listings. If it's ST, you want to have it that way. Or if it's Boulevard spelled out, or BLVD, however it is, your name, address, phone number, you want to make sure it's consistent throughout all of the listings, okay? You want to create a separate page for each of your services. One of the things we're going to talk about in SEO is content. Content is king, and we have a whole section that we're going to talk about that. But if you have all of your services on one page, it's hard for the bots to really comprehend what the service is about. And it's hard for you to explain if it's all on one page, because you may have 8 different services where you may not want to have one long page, where you shouldn't have one long page. You should have a page on each service where you get in the detail about what that service is about. That's how you begin to add content to your website. And that's how you become relevant with that authoritative content, that your services should be unique to you and to your locale and to the client avatar that you serve. Okay, so have a separate page for each of the services on your site. You want to set up your social media profiles. So hopefully you have social media profiles on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Pinterest, or Houzz, or what have you. But if you do not, this is where you want to set up profiles on each of the major ones. I would say for design and remodeling, you should at least have a profile with Facebook, Instagram, Houzz, and I would say those are the top 3. But afterwards, I would say Pinterest would be next, and then I would say YouTube, because YouTube is the second most search engine after Google. So you should want to have something there. But once you create these profiles, you want to link back to your site, because this is a form of SEO. This is a form of that off-page SEO that we talked about, where you have credible sites linking back to your main website. And so by creating these social profiles, you're creating links from those reputable sites, which are those social profiles, to your main site. And that's also helping you to drive traffic, because when others visit your social profiles, they have a link back to your site to get there, and that's driving more traffic to your website. So now we're going to talk about the 10 SEO factors for ranking in 2021. So number one, we're going to start out with optimize title tags. Now this is going to get a little technical, but bear with me. Like I said, this is a recording. This is being recorded, so you can rewatch a lot of this and share this with your technical team or your web developer. But learn a lot of this information for yourself as well. So you want to write a catchy, engaging title for your content. And you want to make sure it's less than 70 characters long, because the title tag, that's the area right beneath the URL that actually exposes if you have it more than 70 characters and make it cut off. Making sure that you have your main keywords or what you're trying to explain or get across to the end user is what you want to have in those 70 characters. And what we found, best words to use are best, quick, top, guide, easy. Those are titles and words that people recognize and click on. So you want to use those sparingly how you can. But mainly what you want to do with this title tag is explain in 70 characters or less what your site is all about. And this is what the bots are going to read to initially tell what the site is all about, okay? Keep your URLs short and simple. So there are a lot of sites that have long URLs, even ours. If you look at ours, Kitchen and Bath Marketing Solutions, that's a long URL. But we also got the acronyms KABMS for that very reason, because we get asked by a lot of clients, like, that's a long URL. And we tell them, well, you can also get to our site by the acronyms KABMS, which is small, but it redirects or forwards to our main URL. So on your URL, you want to make sure all of your pages are not long as well. So you want to shorten those up so they're easier to find, easier to reference, easier to link to. Or you could use a link shortener as well. But you want to make sure that your URL is simple and short, easy to remember, easy to find. You want to use HTTPS so your site is secure, because right now having your site secure is another ranking factor. So having those little things helps you in this SEO game that we use. Okay? Use headings and subheadings. So you may or may not have heard of H1s and H2s. This is more technical jargon that we use within the digital marketing realm when we talk about content on a site. So you have different levels of titles. So H1 is your main title, and then you have the next heading beneath that is the H2, and then the next heading, H3, and on and on and on. So when you create the content on your page, you want to separate and divide up the heading levels, because that helps the bots organize what's important on the page and what's not. Write engaging meta descriptions. This is the short descriptions that appears below the title or the title tags. Okay, so these are descriptions of each of the pages, saying, okay, so you may have the home page, so that may be self-explanatory because that's what you do. You may have a services page, a portfolio page, a testimonials page. So now you're explaining what each of those pages are about. And you have 160 characters to do this, but you don't want to use like the ampersand or the plus sign or the minus sign. You want to explain in 160 characters or less what that page is about. Because again, the bots goes to the home page, then to these other pages, and they read the meta descriptions so they can understand what the site is about, okay? Next, you want to place keywords strategically. Now in SEO, you're going to hear a lot about keywords. Keywords is what drives a lot of the traffic, because the keywords is what people type in the search, and those keywords is what will direct them to your site. So you want to place them strategically throughout your website. And you want to have them in the right places where you keep the readers engaged and sending them positive signals to the search engines. So use your keywords in your title, like we talked about the title tag. In the meta descriptions, you want to use them in your headings and your subheadings, like we talked about the H1, H2 in the titles. You want to use them everywhere that you can, in all the paragraphs that you can, and you want to have it clear and concise, but not keyword stuff. You just don't want to have a whole lot of keywords in there, because the search engines will view that in the negative light. So write naturally, but use the keywords so you can explain what is going on your website, what is going on a particular page. Bonus. Now, we get asked a lot, how do you find specific keywords for the design and remodel area? Well, we actually have a document that we created. If you were on our webinar that we did in January, it's a CEU session where we talked about developing a marketing plan for 2021. We did research and we handed out a guide for the most commonly searched keywords in the interior design and remodel industry. So these are the top 60 keywords that'll get your phone ringing. So if you did not attend that webinar or that CEU session, you can either go to our website and listen to that session, because there's a lot of information we gave at that webinar and CEU that you should know, and that helps you, because it just expounds on what we're talking about here. But also, if you do not want to just look back at that CEU session, you can go directly to this link right here, and it'll take you directly to that downloadable document where you can learn what those 60 keywords are. Add alt attributes to your images. Now, this is important, especially for SEO, because you have to remember the bots do not read images, they read text. And so when you add images to your website like these, when you add remodeling images or whatever design or remodel you did, and you show the project and you show the results or the construction or the demolition or the end result of the project, when you have the images on your website, the bots won't know. They don't know what the image says. They don't know what it's about. So you need to add alt tags to all of your images and explain what the image is about. That way the bots can now know what this image is about, and that gives you extra information on that page besides just images. Because a lot of designers have portfolio pages where there's images all over the page, but the image itself is not explained. They may have a caption under the image for the end user to read, but the bots don't know what the image is. So by adding an alt tag to that image, now the bot realizes what that image is about. And what happens too, because when you do search, you have the option to click on image. So now you have the option, now you have the possibility of your image being pulled up. And if it's pulled up, that drives people, and they click on it, it drives them to your website. So that's the importance of adding alt tags. So that's something you want to do with all the images on your website. Add alt tags to all your images. You want to use internal and external links. So the internal links are the pages on your site that link to each other. So you may have a home page where you talk about the services. Like we talked about with the services, you want to have services, you want to have a page for each of the services on your website. So you may have a service page that has a list of all of your services, interior design, whether that's virtual design, whether that's 3D modeling, CAD work, coaching, whatever services you offer, you may have them all listed out on your services page. But then you click, and then it goes to the page about that specific service that talks about. That's the internal link. The external link is like what we talked about with social media. So you may have Facebook profile, you may have an Instagram profile that links back to your website. So those are external links that from a reputable site that come back to your website. And so you want to have internal and external links. So what you want to really work on is to make sure that the internal links all work. Because if they do not, that's also a factor. Because if you click on a link and it does not work, how many times have you went to a website, clicked on a link, and you went to a 404 page? Or it was a page that it cannot be found. That means they have not checked to make sure the links work, or they may have had a page in the past that they deleted, but they forgot to check all the other links on their site to ensure that it was not linking to that page. Okay, and there's software out there that can help you find all of those 404 links as well. If you're interested, let us know. We'll be happy to help you with that. Okay? Focus on page speed. If you didn't listen to the webinar or the CEU session we did on websites, we did a CEU session last month on how to optimize your website for conversions. So once you drive people to your website, now that they're there, you have to convert them. So site speed was one of the main things that we talked about. And so these are 2 links that you can use here, gtmetrics.com or developers.google.com/speed/page speed insights. This is from Google. Both of these websites are free. We use GTmetrix a lot because that helps us understand a website, and it also explains all of the errors that are on your site. So not only would it talk to you about page speed, it'll talk to you also about when we talked about schema data. So now you can bring back in the technical people or the web developers, and you can type your website into GTmetrix. It's going to give you a grade from A to F on how well your site is performing, and it's going to list out all of the issues and possible recommendations on how to enhance those issues. Once you have that information, you can give that to your web developer if you're not doing the website yourself so they can fix it. Or if you're working with a marketing agency or an SEO agency, you can put your own website in there to hand to them. Or if they've already done it, you can see how well they've done and where they may need to make some changes or enhancements. Because that website, GTmetrix, like I said, we use that in it. It's a free website. You can put your information in it and get a grade and a lot of information. But the main thing that you want to look at, what we're talking about here, is page speed. Because the slower your website loads, the worse user experience you'll have, and that'll hurt you with the search engines because they want the user to have a great experience, and the slower your website loads, the worse user experience, and that'll hurt you. So make sure your page speed is optimal, less than about 3 seconds. That's the average, okay? You want to write unique content. So content is king, like I talked about earlier on. Content is what drives a lot of people to your website. So by doing blogs, you want to do blogs to your website, adding in new pages. When you add in a project, don't just add in images, do a project page. You actually explain what happened, where you take the end user through the process of what you went through. Meeting, that initial meeting, what happened, what were the goals from the client, what happened during demolition, what happened when you went to the showroom, what happened when you went to pick out materials and furniture and furnishings and fixtures and equipment, what happened when you went to do all of this. You're explaining all of this. What happened during the remodel, and then the final reveal. Now you have a story, and this story is great content that you could then use on blogs. So you can have a story that explains that project, and you could break that up into different blogs. And then once you have the blogs, you can take snippets to use on social media that draws people back to your blog, and that's drawing more traffic. But at the end of the day, you want to use authoritative, unique content. And when I say authoritative, that's because you're explaining your process that only you know. You know your process better than anybody else. So that's authoritative to you and your business. And when you do that, you're able to show from the end user that you're the expert in the field, the expert in your locale. And so by doing that, you're creating that brand awareness, and you're starting to build your brand as the expert in your area. And you know what you're talking about. You're having the end user understand what your process is like, and you have content that the search engines like, and they're going to draw more people to your website and rank you higher, okay? Maintain good readability. Now, this is about sentence structure and grammar. You want to make sure that you check the grammar, the content, using short and long sentences, not run-on sentences, active and passive voice. This is English 101. what I'm saying is just whenever you write something, whenever you write a blog content on your website, make sure you have somebody check it. Because even when we do our own information, we have a content writer, but we actually have several content writers. So when one content writer writes something, we have another content writer or somebody else check and reread it, because as you're working on something, you may make mistakes that is hard for you to catch. So by having those extra eyes to look at the content that you or your team writes, makes it more readable. And that in turn enhances the user experience. Because if you have bad content where words are spelled wrong, sentence structure, run-on sentence, and it doesn't read right, now people are viewing your website as negative. So you want to make sure that the English and the content is good and it's thick. And just by having an extra reader or having somebody that can make sure the grammar is correct helps you out. And that's something simple that anybody can do. All right. Bonus number 2, developing content. We get asked a lot, how do you find out what people are searching for, what good content is? Go to this website, answerthepublic.com. This is a website where you can type in certain keywords or you can type in topics, and it'll let you know what people are searching for on the internet. So it gives you raw insights into what people are typing in. So if you was to type in interior design, it'll give you a lot of suggestions on what people are typing in. And so that'll help you. Okay, now I may want to write about how you should pick your next interior designer or what you should look for in a good interior designer. So you'll get all of these topic suggestions that help you develop your content strategy. So this is a great website that we use as well. And this is also a free website. Optimizing your business for Google Map listings. Now, this we're going to explain here on how you get on Google Maps. So this is going to take you through that process. So first you want to click on this link or go to this URL. Once you're at the page, you're going to hit on Manage Now, right here. Next, you're going to be taken to Google Maps where you can search your business name and address. So you want to put that in. If your business is not registered, you want to follow the next step so you can create a profile. All right, this is all free. This is all free. Okay. Once you've done that and you've created the profile, you're going to next click on Add Your Business, and that's going to click that link and add your business to Google Maps. You want to enter all of the information, all of the basic information like the NAP information, name, address, phone number, your category, which will be interior designer, architect, remodeler, contractor or such. Then you want to check the box that you are authorized, that you are an authorized manager of the business and you agree to the terms of service. You can read over them, but you want to make sure you click on that. And then once you do that, you're going to hit on continue. Then you're going to have the option to verify. So you'll have two options. You'll have the verify where you can click to call, or they're going to mail you a postcard that you enter in the numbers. If you do the postcard option, it may take up to 15 days. Honestly, we've had some business owners that we know and clients of our own that it took them honestly up to a month to get the postcard. So if you have the option, I would say call me now and click so they can call you and talk to you about your business, because they want to make sure you are reputable business, you are where you say you are. And they're going to ask you questions on your location to verify, because they have all of this information, so they know where your location is, where you are, so they'll be able to verify, and they can verify you on the spot. Once you're verified, which may take 5 to 10 minutes on the phone, you'll have your listing. And so now it'll look something like this. Well, you'll have your name, interior designer, contractor, your hours of operation, if you have any reviews, not on Yelp. You may have reviews on Houzz or Facebook or one of the other sites, or Google, hopefully. Your address, phone number, all of that, and then a link to your website. This will also be another link. Remember when we talked about off-page and links to your website? This is another reputable link back to your website, okay? So, and then this will help you because when somebody is searching locally near you on their mobile device, you will most likely pull up if you have a lot of this information. We're going to talk about how you get on there, but you'll pull up right next to where they are, okay? So now that you have your Google listing and that you've done all this, hopefully you were walking through. Now, if you're live with me now, you may not have had a chance to do all this. I did stop and slow up so you could follow along. You could try to do this real time with us live. But like I said, this is recorded. And if you're watching this on the replay, you should stop and follow along so you can do it live. Because what I find from a lot of these sessions is a lot of people take notes, and that's why we also have the workbook. But a lot of people take notes, so you don't have to worry about taking notes, but we want you to do this action. So we want you to actually create your Google My Business profile if you don't already have one. So now you're actually starting to move towards that SEO strategy. So now that you have the Google My Business listing, now we're going to show you a complete guide on how to optimize. So this is a checklist we created for you to optimize that listing. So you want to go back and make sure that all of the information is correct. You have the physical address, name, address, phone number, and that. You want to make sure that you have the right Google My Business. So you want to make sure all the information is accurate, like we talked about with all of the listings that you see out there. And there are a few listing providers where you can see where you're listing in terms of Yellow Book and Angie's List and Facebook and Google, Yahoo, Yelp, all of those. So you just want to make sure that everywhere your business is listed is the same exact way. Okay, that's something that it may seem tedious, but you only need to do it once, and once it's done right, you're good to go. Okay, like I said, keep that information accurate. If you ever change your address or if you ever add a location, make sure you make that change everywhere. Okay, so like I said, it's only one time unless you make a change. Okay, write a catchy business description for your Google My Business profile, like you did, like we talked about earlier with the title tag for the website. You want to also do a catchy title for the Google My Business as well, because this is also something that the bots are going to recognize. So you may use the same one that you use on the title tag, or you may want to change it up, but make sure it's relevant to your business and services, and that it represents you in the right way. Upload high quality images of the work that you've done, not that somebody else has done, that you've done. And you want to alt tag those images, okay? And you want to collect reviews. So reviews are vital, especially Google My Business. You want to do a lot of Google reviews. So you want to, after every project, make sure that you ask that your client reviews you, especially if they're really happy when the reveal is happening. That's usually what we tell our clients. The best time is when you reveal the space. Is you have your iPad or your laptop or you have a computer handy when you reveal the space and they're excited, because that's the most excited they're going to be right then. After that excitement calms down and you're talking about the closeout of the project, have them do a review right then and there if they're open to it. Have them do a review. And if they're really excited, have them do a video review. And we'll talk about how that can really enhance your business. Because if you do a video review, that's something that you could then place on YouTube, on your website, and you could chop that up and use that in other marketing avenues. And we're going to do a session on video marketing and YouTube and how to utilize it. Video reviews is amazing. Okay. So now let's talk about some SEO myths. One myth that we hear a lot about is links help generate leads. Now, links are important, And like we talked about earlier on, you want to have internal links. So all of your pages link to one another, and you want to make sure to check that there's no broken links. And off-page SEO is about external links, but links are not going to get you leads, because you can have high ranking, but if when people go to your website, if they don't find the information that they're looking for, or if the content is not relevant to them, then everything else means nothing. So here I'm going to recommend that you look back at the website CEU that we talked about, where we talk about how to optimize your website to convert visitors into clients. So that is a website that directly pertains to this myth right here. Because just driving traffic means nothing if when they get there, they're falling flat and not finding what they're looking for. So you want to make sure once people come to your website, they find what they're looking for and you convert them. So check out that website, which I'll have here, and you can look and see what we did and how we explained it. So you can convert all the people coming to your website into paying clients. Happy paying clients that'll leave you a review. All right. Voice search makes SEO harder and more expensive. Now, I've heard this from a couple clients and a couple other business owners I know that have hired digital marketing agencies that said that they're going to do voice search SEO and they're going to add that in, or they were charged just for voice search. Honestly, I've heard this and it kind of upsets me, because the SEO strategies that are used, if it's a reputable company or if you know how to do SEO, it's the same strategies that you would use for voice search. So there's really no extra work or extra money that you need to pay for voice search. So if you hear that, and if you hear an agency or if you hear somebody say that they're going to do voice search and that's going to be a little extra, let those antennas raise. You need to have a red flag right there, like, hold up, pause, explain that. How is that more? Because it shouldn't be. Okay. So run for the hills if you hear that. You need exact keywords to rank well. Not today. Not today. The search engines and the bots now are very sophisticated. So they know how to determine a lot of the keywords that you have on your website and how they relate to what others may be typing in. So you may have a word that's similar, but not the exact same word. And you don't have to worry about having the exact keyword for everything. So if you was to go to answerthepublic.com and you found articles or suggestions in there on things you may want to write about, and you write about those, but then you say, well, I may need to cover this, this, and this. No, just cover the topic broadly. And then the search engine or the bots will be able to read and anticipate what the end user is trying to interpret and determine if your site is right or not. But that's also why I talk about content. Content is king. Because the more content you have out there, the more chances you have for the bots to find your site more credible, because you're talking about the same topic in different ways. You're talking about the same topic and you're elaborating on it this way, and you may elaborate on it another way. You may talk about a traditional design or an eclectic design in a certain way with a certain project that you had. Then you may have another project that did the exact same style, eclectic or traditional, but you approached it a different way. You use different materials, but it's the same style. It's still modern or traditional or whatever the style was, Mediterranean or whatever style you use. You may have 2 to 3 different projects that use the same style, but how you approach was different, how you went through the process, the materials. But those are all ways that if somebody was searching for an interior designer that did Mediterranean design, interior design, now you have multiple ways to be found. And that's where talking about the project helps out. Okay. So this one, you don't have to have exact match, but you should use a lot of content. You should be using content. And one of the best ways to get content is your projects. Explain your project. And then the last myth, well, we hear a lot of myths, but I only had 4 here, is that SEO is your sole digital marketing strategy. I do not agree with this. SEO is a great strategy. Don't get me wrong. We use this with a lot of our clients, and I always suggest SEO should be a part of your marketing strategy. It should not be your only marketing strategy. SEO is a long-term strategy. It's not instant. So you need to incorporate that with more paid strategies, which are more instant, like the Google AdWords or the social media ads, Facebook ad, Instagram ads. Those are immediate, while the SEO is working in the back end long-term. And also you have reputation management, which you have to pay attention to in terms of what is being said out there about you in terms of your reputation and PR. So that's something you need to think about. Video marketing is something else I had talked about earlier, is about creating videos is a great way. Cause like I said, YouTube is the second most search engine after Google. And if you're on YouTube, great way to be found. So videos, you want to think about word of mouth, which a lot of you already have word of mouth. So there are a number of other strategies that you should be using. SEO should be one of them, but it should not be the only one. So I didn't mention email marketing, and there are a lot of other tactics and strategies, but we like to use a digital dominance method. And that's what you see here, digital dominance, where we use, when we work with you, we like to use all-encompassing marketing strategy, where you're omnipresent, where you're everywhere, every possible place that the client could even think of ending up, whether that be email marketing, video marketing, social media marketing, PPC, ads, wherever they may be, you're there. That's being omnipresent, and that's the digital dominance method. If you want to know more about that, I'll be happy to explain that to you or my team. If you look back at our developing your marketing plan for 2021, we go into detail on how we implement this. And if you want to hop on a call with us, I'll be happy to explain it as well. All right. So what we covered, we talked about SEO 101. What is it? What is SEO and why it's important? Optimizing your website for SEO. The 10 SEO factors for ranking in 2021. Optimizing your business for Google Map listings. SEO myths. And that was what we covered today. Now, what I want you to do for your takeaway, tell me what are the 3 SEO strategies that you will implement. Okay. There's a lot of information we went over today. A lot of information. You can replay this and go over and see what you want to do. A lot of this information may take some time. Some may not take as much time. But you want to start to implement this. Great that you're watching this, getting the CEU out of this. But at the same time, you want to use this information now. You can start to grow your business. And also think about who on your team or who do you need to converse with to help you take action on these 3 strategies. Now, if you're able to do more than 3 strategies, awesome. But you want to start with 3 so you can have, because remember, it's a lot of information that we went over today. And you don't eat, if you want to eat an elephant, like the saying goes, how do you eat an elephant? 1 bite at a time. So doing 3 strategies is a start. And we talked about a lot. We talked about a lot more than 3. But 3 is to start. And then as you get that rolling, now you can move to the next 3. And then now you can move to the next 3. And now you're starting to build momentum. And while that momentum is building, your business is growing. Traffic is being driven to your website. And if you watched on the website, CEU, now you have a website that is converting all of this traffic into clients. And now you're starting to make more money, starting to get more projects. You're starting to build that brand. Now you're growing, okay? What you also have at the back of your workbook is this SEO checklist. And we have it divided into 5 sections where we have the SEO basics, the keyword research, technical SEO, on-page SEO, and content. and also off-page SEO. So this is a lot of the same information that we've already went over in this session, but it's just organized in a way that you can map out the plan that you want to do. So you can hand this to a technical person or your web developer to help you map out the strategies that you want to use for your SEO. If you have any questions about this, let us know. For all of you all that watched on the replay, we answered all of the questions actually within most of what we talked about. And if you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to us, because we know we went over a lot of information today. And if you want to really implement and take your business to the next level, and you want to hire a company that is known for doing this, like I said, we've been at this for over 20 years in the industry and helping other clients in the interior design, home remodel, residential architectural niche for over 10 years. We know what we're doing. So give us a call at the number on the screen, or schedule a time with us, or visit our website, look at our resource library. Go to our website at kitchenandbathmarketingsolutions.com, or the acronyms KABMS.com, and look at the resources that we have. Our resource library, we're adding to it once a week, training videos, webinars, these CEU sessions we add once a month. So you can find the CEU sessions on our website, or also on NKBA's website. They're going to also be with AIA as well if you're an architect. So feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions, or if this is just too much for you to do alone, let us know. We do a 30-minute strategic conversation where we just, free of charge, we just learn more about what you do. You can learn about us, and we see if it's a right fit, because we don't work with everybody. We actually have exclusivity with the firms that we work with. So we have a 20-mile radius. When we work with a firm, we won't work with anybody else within 20 miles. So if you're meeting with us, we're trying to see if you're a good fit for us, as well as you seeing if we're a good fit for you. So it's not just one way. We're not just, I'm going to tell you that right now, we're not hard selling, because we want to make sure it's a good fit. We want to help you grow. And we do well by helping our clients grow. And if you're not a good fit, we're going to let you know. Or if we're already working with somebody in your locale, we will let you know that as well. And we'll refer you to our resource library, where we have a lot of information, or we can consult with you as well. So get in contact with us. We hope you've enjoyed this session. Again, SEO is great, but learning about this is one thing, implementing it is another. So we hope you can implement a lot of these techniques, and we hope to hear from you and see you at our next CEU session. All right, have a good day.